The global insurance industry is more than a market.
It's a movement powered by 3 million professionals around the world.
Together, we support communities as they rebuild after disaster.
Help businesses through risk and uncertainty.
Protect individuals as they plan for brighter futures.
This impact isn't possible without people.
That's why we attract, grow, and retain the very best talent.
Because when every voice is heard,
When every person feels they belong.
We don't just build careers.
We build a better tomorrow.
Belonging builds tomorrow.
Belonging builds tomorrow.
Belonging builds tomorrow.
Belonging builds tomorrow.
Belonging builds
Belonging builds
Belonging builds tomorrow.
Good morning, ladies and gents, from sunny South Africa. Thank you for the audience who's here today. Good morning to everybody online, whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening. Welcome to this very, very exciting, very intriguing Dive In 2025. And I think both are hot topics at the moment and will be for a very long time. The first one we will be walking through and breaking the silence on men's mental health, and secondly, neurodiversity and neurodiverse individuals and how that plays out. My name is Julian Dillahunt. I will be your host. I'm honored to be your moderator and looking forward to a great session. We have people online, and we've obviously got an online audience, maybe a local audience. Just one big round of applause and a bit of noise from South Africa, if you would. All right, awesome. Events like this, ladies and gents, would never be possible without our great sponsors. The sponsors today, from a global perspective, are AIG, Aon, Clyde & Co. Marsh McLennan, I like that. There's someone in the audience who like that. Munich Re, and the local sponsors, Chubb, SHA, Division of Sanson. Guess who arrived? Welcome. All right, and then just some of the objectives before we kickstart the day. The objectives of the Dive In for the insurance industry is to identify effective methods to attract and retain talent, resulting in high-performing teams that are better equipped to meet the evolving needs of our clients within the insurance industry. Secondly, the objective is to focus on how the global insurance industry can create engagement and momentum for collaboration to make itself more attractive to a broader range of talents to deliver future innovation and operational effectiveness. And then finally, the objective to develop guidelines, actions, and role modeling opportunities that reflect an inclusive culture which empowers all colleagues. So in my sort of daily work, I often find myself in working with high-performance teams and high-performance individuals. I'm blessed enough to travel around the world and work with top international sporting teams and individuals. And I often get asked the question, how do we build high-performing teams? How do we change human behavior? How do we build high-performing individuals? What do we do? And my normal direct answer is there's no magic wand, ladies and gents. There's no quick fix. We talk about marginal gains. We talk about incremental steps to success. And that means that every day I do something that makes me better than I was yesterday. Every day. So I'm better today than I was yesterday. And tomorrow I strive to be better than I am today. And I think events like this open that dialogue and give us the opportunity to learn, to sit back today, embrace and enjoy the session. I would really encourage you to listen carefully, because there's 4 remarkable men that will be joining me up on stage, and they will be telling their stories. Ladies and gents, did you know that men are 3 to 4 times more likely to die by suicide than women? A staggering statistic that is a harsh reminder of the silent struggles that men face today. But today we're here to break the silence. We're here to talk about the unspoken, to listen, to engage, to listen without judgment, without, as men, trying to fix things, without trying to find solutions. We're here to support each other on this journey. Ladies and gents, let's dive in. Let's explore the complexities of men's mental health. And with me tonight, or today, I'd like to just invite onto stage our 4 gentlemen, Mr. Sipho Nda, Mr. Vim Malan, Mr. Norwyn K, and Mr. Jared Shippel. Please put your hands together. An incredible amount of expectations and pressure on men today. Each of them are here in their different capacities. They've reached out, they're open to tell their stories. Sipho, I'm going to jump straight in and I'm going to come to you. Sipho Nda is a market underwriter at Munich Re, where he's honed his skills and expertise in non-life insurance for over a decade. In his role, he integrates treaty underwriting with comprehensive client management, playing a pivotal role in shaping and growing East and West Africa portfolio. Outside of his professional life, Sipho is a strong advocate for fitness and for mental health. I love this, Sipho. His favorite quote and life motto is, be kind. What brought you here today, Sipho? And welcome. How are you feeling? You good?
No, I'm feeling good. Thank you, Gillian.
Welcome, man. Welcome. What brought you here? And please tell us your story.
Yes, so what brought me here is just to share my journey as a man and in mental health. And I've got an interesting angle, if you like, to mental health. My story, I think, is rather interesting. Before I get into it, I would like to clarify that anything I say is going to be gender neutral, first of all. So if I say I'm not speaking to men or women, I'm mostly speaking to us as a society. That's one thing I would like to explain. So if I say something like, men are not appreciated in our world, by our world, I don't mean women don't appreciate men. I mean us as a society, including myself, we don't appreciate men enough. So just as some clarity.
Got you. We're all comfortable. We got that.
Yes, yes.
Thank you, Sipho.
And if I say men struggle, I don't mean women don't struggle. So
of course.
I just want to clarify those things. Okay.
Got you.
So my story is, so if I were to put this as a speech, I would have titled this speech "The Silent Killer," and that's the angle I want to share with you. My mental health journey has been one that I'll call the silent killer. My mental health struggles have been a silent killer for the most part. And I share that because these are the ones that are difficult to diagnose, because for the most part, you think that it's something like death by 1,000 cuts, in that you felt it was a cut, but you didn't get shot. So the stories you'll hear shortly, that the stories I've been through have mostly not been the sudden and unforeseen event. Speaking as I'm speaking to insurance people, that changed my life overnight. But then it was mostly a build-up of a lot of things over a lifetime that then changed me and gave me a different personality, the way I behave in future. First story, for example, as an example, 2 years ago, I was diagnosed with depression. And what was interesting about my depression diagnosis was when my psychologist said I was suffering from depression, I legit thought he was joking. I was waiting for the I'm kidding moment. And because in my mind, I was feeling okay. I was laughing with my friends. I was not one of those people that sat in his room and I was living it up. I was okay. But and I call it a silent killer because I'm the type that can suffer from a depression not knowing that I'm suffering from depression. And I realized that this had been the case for many years in hindsight. And can you imagine what then this had been doing to me as a person over all these years? But I don't know what I'm suffering from. So what I'm trying to say here is that there are a lot of things, a lot of traumas we go through in life that sometimes hide themselves in us, or at least in myself. And then they are being that person who is more angry than normal. You're jealous in your relationship, all of those things. You're ugly to people at times, and all because of something like I was suffering through depression, and I didn't know, but it hid itself because I was a person who could still be happy-go-lucky. Second story I want to tell on the same note is that When I was 13, by the way, my colleagues are here and they're going to discover some things about me. That's interesting.
It's a safe space.
And I appreciate them for coming, by the way. Thank you. I really do. I really do appreciate that. So when I was 13, I found myself in a situation where I was groomed by a lady who was older than me. She was in her early 20s and I was 13, a child, right? My psychologist called it a molestation. It never got physical like that, but it was a lot of grooming, trust me. And now I share the story because when a lot of these things happen to a lot of boys and we never speak about it as the world. By the world, I mean all of us, again. We never speak about it as the world. One, because most boys also don't think it was a tragic event because, trust me, I enjoyed it. Now, I know this sounds bad, but I enjoyed it. But I wouldn't have known the impact it would have had on me like years later. Two decades later, I go to therapy. You're not going to believe this. I go to therapy and my psychologist, I tell him some stories about me. First session, some stories about me. At the end of the session, and I'm telling him this story at the end. And he gives me his notes and says he had made 2 points about me. He had said homosexuality or a sexuality that was interrupted at a young age. So he was saying to me, you are this old, you'll seem okay in life. You're not married, you don't. I knew there was something in you. So now where I'm going with this is, do you understand the impact that this event had in me for decades, not knowing that I was even suffering from it because it's hidden in my mind, but it's impacting my behavior. So these are the things that I'm saying are silent killers that sometimes men who are mostly don't talk suffer from.
Yeah, Sipho, just to come in there, we're often socialized as men to suppress our emotions, which leads to the anxiety, the depression, the fears. Did you see signs? Was there a reason? How did you end up at therapy?
Oh, yes, how did I end up in therapy? It was in COVID, but that was not even the main reason. I had seen a lot of things in myself, like some of the traits I've spoken about now, which is that I was more jealous than I think people should be in my relationship. I'm generally a very calm person. I think my colleagues will tell me I'm very, very calm as a person, but I find myself more anger in me, more. I was just that person who was road rage, all of those, and I thought to myself, you know what? I think I might need to have a look at this. I might need to have a look at this. Then I went and saw my therapist. And something interesting, so because I was going somewhere with my previous point, but I just want to finish the story after that question. Something interesting about that first session in therapy was that my psychologist then says to me when I told him that I had not gone through a sudden unforeseen event, but these traits.
Over time.
But these traits that made me this person over time, right? He said something very interesting, and this is one of the points I would like to leave you guys with. He said that what he noticed in his experience in therapy, in his experience in Europe and here in Africa, was that in Europe, people went to therapy mostly not after an event, they elevate themselves. So if a person is gunning for a certain position, one of the tools he puts in his arsenal is mental wellness. I thought that was amazing. And yeah, he congratulated me for doing that. But moving on, where I was going with that point was that, yes, there are things that are the silent killer that can happen to us. Okay. Another point I wanted to share with you is, as men, as society, let's try and take care of men. Let's try and love men. Something else I went through 2 years ago, I went through, I was a victim of a domestic violence situation, and I was amazed by how much the entire world, including the police, just had no time. The world has no time for men in those situations. It was one of those that, I'm trying to report a case, and they were like, no, it's like they had no time for me at all. And I would again encourage us to take care of men. Men need care. Men need love.
Yeah.
Men need love.
So I'm hearing communication. I'm hearing support. Sipho, Norwyn, I want to just sort of briefly stop at your door here. Norwyn's an international performance and mental health advisor and head operations at One Stop Wellness. As the youngest Men of Valor recipient, he's reshaping how people think about wellness and about performance, working with companies, leaders, and individuals to consult the uncomfortable truths. Norwyn, what brought you here? How are you feeling? Are you good?
Yeah, thank you so much, Julian. And I'm feeling great, and it's good to see such a great audience. What brought me here? Well, it's exactly that. It's about demystifying this thing we call mental health and this domain of mental and emotional well-being. In fact, I actually want to ask everybody a question here. Is there anybody in the room, with a show of hands, who here wants to be in a marriage or a relationship but not be in love? Hands up. Let's have a look. Anyone here want to take that deal? You want to be in a marriage or a relationship but not be in love?
For those online, there's not a single hand that's gone up.
Okay, nobody online? Okay. See, that's very interesting to me because what that tells me is that there's a lot of expectation in this room. And believe it or not, we used to live in a time where we got married not for love, but for resources, for land, for practicality. It was a utilitarian process. This idea of love is a very modernized thing, and with it comes a lot of expectations. If I had to ask you all in this room, is anybody here okay with living or working in a job that pays you fairly well, but doesn't fulfill you in any other aspect of your life? Anyone taking that deal? No?
Still no hands.
Yep. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, good. Okay. My friend, I would call you what we call pre-modern, okay? Because again, believe it or not, we used to live in a time where we used to work just to get paid, all right? This idea of work fulfillment is a very new modernized thing, and with it comes a lot of insistencies and expectations. And a lot of my work and the things that I write about and I speak about is around that domain. A quick sort of story. When I was 17 years old, you know when Mix-It was still a thing?
Sure.
Who here doesn't know what Mix-It is? Be honest. Huh? Okay, we're all in the right age group here. So when Mix-It was still a thing, for those of you who don't know, by the way, it's prehistoric WhatsApp. Okay. That should tell you how old I am. I was 17 years old. I was in matric at the time, and does anybody have siblings here? Okay, how can siblings? Okay, some of you are like, they owe me money, so no. I know, I get it. So I also have a sibling. Her name is Dominique. She's 3 years older than me, and just like some of you, we were thick as thieves. We grew up together. We did everything together. We got into trouble together. It was that kind of. And this is gonna make sense to some of you. She was more my parent than my actual parents were, right? Because we know what this is like. This dynamic. When I was 17 years old, my sister was murdered. And she was shot and killed by her ex-boyfriend. He shot her 9 times. He took the gun, he put it in his mouth, and he killed himself afterwards. And so there was no closure. There was no understanding. And as a 17-year-old, I don't know about any of you here, but did anybody go to how to deal with the loss of a loved one class in school? No. Did anybody go to how to understand grief and pain in school? So it is no wonder that we become adults who are incapable and processing with emotions because we have no pre-existing conditioning of these things. And so I really struggled. I went into severe depression. I had anxiety, the whole shebang. And a year after that, I had developed a rare degenerative eye disease that left me blind in my right eye. So as I'm sitting here looking at all of you, I have no vision in my right eye, and I can see everyone's trying to stare at the lazy eye. Yeah, this happens. This happens all the time. Luckily, you can't tell if you look at it, but I can't see out of this eye. But I will tell you this: a consistent exposure to a requisite environment has side effects, and oftentimes the side effects are illness. Not always, but a lot. And my loss of eyesight was because my body was living in deep depression and anxiety over a long time. And so it became so severe, at the time as well. My parents went through a very messy divorce. It was just me and my mom. We didn't have a place to stay. It was terrible. And all I could try to do at the time was to try to find a job to help my mom. My mom couldn't afford to send me to university or any other education, so I just tried to find a job, and nobody wanted to give me a chance because I didn't have any qualification. And so I just felt like an oxygen thief at the time. When I was 21 years old, I attempted to unalive myself. Now, so that is the word now. Okay, the S word is not a word anymore. Apparently, we can't say that word anymore. Okay, the suicide word. We say unalivement. So I did a plan to unalive myself. I researched what I needed to do and how much of it I needed to take, and I did. And then I was posed with a question, which was I had about 7 hours left until the effects kicked in, and then I had to ask myself, what do you do when you have 7 hours left to live? Do you guys know? What would you do? You see, the ironic thing about that question is it's an uncomfortable thing to think about. But the truth is, nobody in this room knows if they have 7 hours left. Because life is so fleeting. Like anything could happen to anybody. And so all I could think about doing at the time was taking a walk, and I had about 20 bucks in my pocket, and I gave it to a guy who was begging on the side of the road. And I would always do stuff for people normally before this, but this time it was different. And when I gave him the 20 rand, something different, something happened, and a sense of freedom. Now, why did this happen? I had done something for someone without expecting anything in return. I didn't need a thank you. I didn't need a smile. I didn't need any emotional. I needed nothing because I wasn't going to be around. There was nothing I could get from him. But that made me feel free. And I realized my entire life was a lie. Everything I did, every good deed that I did, it was because I wanted something in return. Even if it was a smile, even if it was some emotional reward, even if it was just something small, it was because I wanted something from it. And once I realized that, I understood that this is something that I had never experienced before, and I want to understand it more. And I made a vow that if I survived that day, I would spend the rest of my life trying to understand what this is, and freedom. And obviously, I am here today, and I've spent the rest of my life trying to demystify and unpack and speak and share about what this is. It's in my work, it's in my books, it's in everything that I do. And that's kind of why I am here sharing with all you amazing people.
Round of applause. I mean, we're glad he's here, aren't we? Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that, Norwyn. So I'm hearing you, again, speak a lot about understanding. Once you understand, you can start working on it. And I liked, before in preparation, you mentioned performance is not a goal, it's a side effect. So we could, afterwards, everybody, by the way, you're welcome to, at the networking session, ask more questions, explore with the gents that are up here. I'd like to move across to you, Vim. I met Vim a couple of years ago through another client. By his own admission, not only was he on the warpath with everyone else, he was on the warpath with himself. He literally wanted to physically hurt somebody the day I met him. Fast forward 12 months, I receive a call out of the blue. "Oh, there you don't. I hope you remember me." Went the message. "Will you help me? Will you walk a journey with me, and will you hold me accountable?" Today, Vim is one of the most senior members of one of the fastest growing construction companies in Southern Africa, if not beyond. He has multiple mega sites below him, and within his structures, he's built a powerhouse organization, and he leads by example. He leads with passion, and he's prepared to learn every step of the way. Vim, a little bit of your story. I know you're a quiet guy.
Sure.
Tell us your story. Why did you take up the opportunity to come and talk to us today?
Well, to start, I'm not dangerous, so just relax. And you said if you only have a couple of minutes left, you don't know if you're going to make it, so I'm just going to put it out there. So I'm originally from the Free State, good family, great school. At the age of 17, mother was trampled by elephant when we were on holiday. And one wrong decision after the other. And I think the biggest thing was that you get stuck in that and you don't know how to get out of it. And the harder you struggle, the worse it gets. Came to a stage where I joined one of the the leading residential developers. Worked there for 12 years, but I became toxic. No one could work with me. And, there was no accountability. I believe with my journey with Julian is, one thing is I reacted to everything instead of responding, and didn't keep myself accountable. So you work hard, you play hard. That's a bit of a nonsense rule, I think, because so you can, if you work hard, you can do whatever you want, because there's no
accountable repercussions.
There's no repercussions. So the day I started the journey with Julian is I got this wonderful opportunity, and I understood that I am unable to navigate relationships. And my personal relationships with my wife and my children got damaged, as well as my professional. And since we've been on this journey for the last 15 months, my religion, my health, my relationship with my family and at work, it's been a journey, but it's been a turnaround of note. And now that I look back at the last 2 years, it's been, I think, the most difficult time, but it's been the most blessed time, because my perception changed. So yeah, that basically, in a nutshell, that's me.
Yeah, we speak a lot about the tree. We talk about the human tree, how our conditioning leads all the way through to our behavior and at the different sides. And often Vin would phone me and say, I'm on the left-hand side of the tree now. I know in that conversation I was on the left-hand side. I need to be better. I need to get better. So what I'm hearing a lot, Vim, is that self-understanding. I know you've done an incredible amount of introspection over the last 12 months. Introspection, is there a message maybe that you want to share with the people around, introspection, how important that is? Last week, we spoke about, instead of you going binge drinking, you were home at 8 with your family, and Saturday morning you were out on the cycle, which was just incredible,
Yeah, I think in our conversations, if something comes up 2 or 3 times, you need to, as you call it, an aha moment. You need to realize that maybe there's an issue. And the expectations I have of myself, and I love camping and off-grid and all that stuff. So last year, September, I went to Botswana, going there, sitting in silence and realizing I don't know who I want to be. I don't know who I am. Who do I want my children to see me? How do I want my wife to see me, my colleagues? We all work in a very high-pressure environment, and what is the legacy going to be? What type of a leader are you? And it's easier said than done. And I can see it in our sessions. If you skip 2-3 weeks, I go to the left, and it's bad. It's very bad. So just picking up the mirror and not giving free passes to myself, because I had that thing of, it's fine, Vim. You're doing well here, so on this side it's fine if you let that slide, but it's not acceptable. And I think that's been I'm setting high standards for myself, and I want to achieve that, but then I need to be honest with myself, and that's been the most difficult part, is being honest and not giving social media answers. Like if you ask, what do you want to be? I want to be the best. I want to be the greatest father. I want to be I have a 8-pack. It's not going to happen.
Hey, you're on your way.
I'm trying.
So just to come in, and there's a sort of a golden thread that I'm seeing here. One of Vim's quotes to me a couple of weeks ago was, why do we pay for the best coaches for our kids for their school and their sporting activities, but we don't reach out for ourselves? And I'm hearing that sort of consistently from the three of you. Thank you, Vim. Jared, welcome. How are you doing here? Sitting you last in the queue, but by no means least.
I'm good, thanks.
Jared is a colleague, a speaker, fellow speaker, and a coach. And in the time that we've known each other, there have been some incredible ups and downs of life, not only as business owners, entrepreneurs, as fathers, husbands, and so much more, as we sort of navigate these murky waters in the South African world of business. Jared spent the last 22 years helping grow businesses and people across 14 different industries in learning and development and a number of other areas. But little did Jared know that all those skills and knowledge would help him through one of life's toughest journeys, especially his fights against cancer, which 19 months ago you were fit and ready to roll. I think we were on our way to a presentation just about.
Yeah.
But I'm very glad to say that Jared has beaten cancer. Why are you here? Tell us your story. Share with us a little bit more, Jared.
Thanks so much, Jules, and thanks everyone. It actually means a lot that there's been such a turnout for something as important as mental wellness, never mind that it's just for men. Often it's taken for complete granted. So a little bit about me, because I can go on, or as we say in Yiddish, dray on. Okay. December of 2023, I noticed something was a little bit different. My wife says, no, it's what's going on? I said, nothing. Now, take into account, and I'm not going to get all gross, but I'm colorblind, okay? And I never noticed anything. One of the signs of cancer was bleeding. So we decided, next year, I'm going to go for a colonoscopy, routine colonoscopy, and I'm waiting there the whole day, and nothing really gets me down. I think Jules has kind of seen that. I'm the second last person to go in. I wake up, and the doctor comes with this grim face. And he says, we saw something we didn't like. So we sent it for biopsy, and we'll let you know, but I'm not very positive. The next day, 11:30, I'm sitting in a business meeting, and sorry, the biopsy's come back. It's malignant. You're going to go see the surgeon immediately. That same day, I was at a surgeon in Linksfield, most amazing person, and he says, we changed protocols with, I'm not going into all the gory details, you're going straight to the oncologist. We don't believe in surgery straight away. That became probably a prolonged form of pregnancy with me, because that's literally how long my cancer sufferer journey lasted until I became the cancer survivor and the cancer warrior. So it started off with the most amazing person who I've ever met as an oncologist, who everyone thinks has the worst bedside manner, okay, who almost accepted a hug from me when he cured me. Almost.
So life-altering moments, the diagnosis,
absolutely.
How does it affect you mentally?
So I'm very fortunate in that I kind of compartmentalize things. And when I went through my treatments, I went through radiation, then chemotherapy, then surgery, I kind of saw each of those as in a different way. So the radiation was 15 minutes a day, every day, 30 days straight. The chemotherapy lasted for several months. That was 4 hours at a time. The surgery was 10 days in hospital, having to get the strength back to eat. But when you have a 7-year-old and you have to tell him when he's 5 that dad's not well, and you see their strength, it's amazing. And I think the real lesson that I got from this, and I think the other gentlemen have mentioned it as well, is simplify it. Excuse me for saying, but don't talk shit to people. It's really about, if a 5-year-old can understand it and deal with it, you can. But if we talk ourselves into so much negativity, that's where the pain starts, and it continues. So one of the things that Jules and I have a passion about, we both love sport. Absolutely. I grew up on a sports field, and I was incredibly, incredibly competitive. And that actually helped me. If there's one thing that sport does, you don't have to be the greatest, but it teaches you friendship, teaches you teamwork, and it teaches you to be competitive, not necessarily with someone else, but with yourself. So for me, each day was, I'm going to get up, I'm going to make this the best day I can. I don't care if I feel terrible, okay? I still have a wife. I have my 7-year-old son, now 7-year-old, and he has ADHD. So there's the day starts at 5 o'clock in the morning and only ends once he's like been asleep for 2 hours, okay, which is late. And you find the way to carry on, and the whole aspect of men's mental wellness. And I have to say this is, if you want to live in isolation, Shakespeare said, "No man is an island." It wasn't Shakespeare, sorry, it was John Donne. Okay, we can't live that way. So the most amazing thing actually happened once I opened up. I didn't want my son finding out from someone else. So it had just been my 30-year, I know I look younger than I really am. It would be my 30-year reunion at school, and some of them have kids with my son. I told all of them. I then made it public once I knew what my diagnosis and plan was. Spoken to 30 years, 35 years in some cases. Every single day were contacting me. How are you doing today? What's the story? And it's that tribe that we build that is so powerful.
So seemingly difficult conversations is what I'm hearing from each of you. Once we start having those difficult conversations, those incremental steps, we start finding support. And how important was support, Sipho and Norwyn? Support? Having someone out there, knowing that someone's listening, whoever that person or people may be.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I had a lot of support through some of the stories I shared. Some of them I did share with my family, friends, even colleagues, actually, some who are here. Thank you for the support during that time. And it made the load a lot lighter for me. Absolutely.
And I'm also hearing common purpose. I mean, you're all talking about some sort of vision. Why, I've got seven hours left. What was my vision? What do I need to leave for my wife? What's that legacy? How important is it having a vision, having a purpose, having something out there that drives you on a daily basis beyond the difficulties? Norwyn?
I mean, I think that's incredibly important. And just quickly to touch on what Sipho was saying, because it's a great question around support. I do think it's absolutely fundamental. And how I came to realize this is, look, we've done research all over the world. We've sent out surveys, we've sent out scouts, and they've all come back and they've said the same thing, which is that no one is normal. Okay. Anybody here in the room, hands up, think that they are normal? Be honest. Own it. Oh, yeah, we have a few. Yeah. Okay. So just keep your hands up. Everyone else, have a look at whose hands up. These are your red flags. Right, these are people you need to watch out for. No, I'm just kidding. No, but it's true though, right? Because the question becomes, what is normal? Normal is just an agreed upon idea based on the most common prevalency in society. Okay, it doesn't work. Okay. Because we are all unique, we all have idiosyncrasies, we all have things about us, and so living up to trying to be normal is just, wasted time. So the support comes in when you realize that we are all a bit crazy, we're all a bit like weird in our own ways, and that's okay. And I think that's real. As crazy as I am, I'm not alone.
Yeah,
there's some other people there that might just be as crazy as me. So. Yeah.
At this moment, are there any questions from the audience? I'll take one, maybe two questions, time dependent. Is there anyone who would like to ask a question? Good.
Not all at once.
Not all at once, yeah. Is that a hand at the back? Yeah, please do.
Hello. Hello, everyone.
Hi. Hello.
I'm Matlad Ramadziwa. I'm from SHA, now Santam Specialist. And you were explaining how Vim is, and you said he leads with passion. And when you were saying those things, in my mind, I was thinking, why not compassion? Because he has traveled the journey of that. Why passion, not compassion?
Is that a question directed at me or at Vim? At Vim. Why not compassion? Why passion? I don't think it's either or. It can be both. But Vim?
I think, look, we first need to understand I do not have my ducks in a line. That's why I'm still seeing Julia. So I think your question is great, because that's a daily struggle, because you work with people. You work with people, and we have on a daily basis 4,000 to 5,000 people on our sites. The thing is, everyone is there with good intentions to provide for their families, yet we're still running a business and we need to make money. That's one of the struggles, is where's the passion and where's the compassion and where's that line? And the main thing is I'm still figuring it out.
Yeah, and I think that's such a true and honest and authentic answer. Wim could have given the social media scripted answer, but that's not how he is. And I think that's the myth we're trying to unpack around mental health, is let's have these open conversations. We're not trying to fix, we're just trying to hear and listen. Any last question? Are there two questions?
Hello, hi. My name is Kutlo from Marsh McLennan.
Hi,
I just wanted to know, or just to find out, in terms of the journey of having that introspection, was there ever a time when someone else came to you and maybe suggested that there is something that you would need to look at? And what was your response or reaction when someone would prompt, having a look at your mental health, or, sort of feel the need that you do need some support or guidance? I know usually they say for change to happen, it needs to come from yourself first. But I just want to know if you ever had other people come, like I do recall your wife did, flag. But I mean, in general, I think most of the time women or society does, not that we're not concerned, but when something is a little bit more heightened in terms of a traumatic event, people do ask, how are you? Do you not need support? How was your response or reaction to that initially? And did people actually ever ask? If not, yeah.
Good question. And we'll direct it to whoever wants to take that question.
Do you mind if I take it?
Go for it.
So, cancer is a big topic. It's a continual trauma. So I had every Tom, Dick and Harry giving advice, telling me I should go see different people. I was told to go see homeopaths. I was told to see reflexologists. I was told to use different oncologists. And then also, very importantly, to speak to mental health professionals as well. The worst one was when they told me what I must eat. Okay, I have to go on a goji berry diet. Now, I'm a pup and flesh sort of person. Okay, and the response that I took on, and maybe this is just my personality, was thank you so much for the concern, thank you so much for the care, and that was where I left it. If I totally disagreed with the person, I'd go and have a conversation by myself. But it's really a case of you need to have your plan, okay? And you need to know and no one knows better than what you need, especially if you're a dogmatic male like myself, okay, who's been told that I'm pig-headed by my wife, of course, okay?
Quote unquote.
Quote unquote. Yeah. But it will be different for different people how you relate to that. What I will say is this: you need that accountability partner, okay? And you can't put that burden on your spouse or your significant other all the time. It's unfair, because that then starts creating more animosity between the two of you, or etc. So speak to a psychologist. Speak to a person who is a trauma counselor if it's a very traumatic event. But you need to have some kind of outlet. And that's pretty much, I'm always so happy to have a longer chat about that.
Yeah, no, thanks. And ladies and gents, we could obviously go on for a long time. I've suggested to the 4 gents out here, I think there's a podcast in our near future, because I really think that there's such valuable information that needs to be shared and needs to be shared with a wider audience. As we conclude this deep dive, I know it's gone in an absolute split second, and there was so much more to get into. Sure. Remember that men's mental health is not just a personal issue; that it's a collective responsibility. Let's try and strive to create a world where men and women, where we're all empowered to express our emotions, and most importantly, to seek help without shame. I think that's what I'm hearing a lot of here, and to prioritize our well-being. As the saying goes, the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. So let's go out there, let's lose ourselves in the service of supporting each other's mental health. And together, I think we can create an absolute ripple effect. I think for the team that's put this type of event together, for the Dive In 2025, I think, we put our hands together because these important issues need to be discussed on such a regular basis. I'm hearing community engagement, I'm hearing supportive culture, supportive environments, I'm hearing mental health awareness and reducing the stigma. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for our brilliant team. And finally, just under everybody's chairs, if you would like to have a look, we've been very kind, Mr. Norwyn K, who does look a little like Danny K, if you if you get where I'm going with this. Under your chair, if there's an orange sticker, Norwyn has handed out 10 of his personally signed books. And after this event, feel free to come and collect your book if you've got your sticker. Ladies and gents, thank you so very much. Round of applause one more time. Thank you.